Hello all. I just got back from a run where it's snowing like shit out here in Minneapolis, and it, I hate to keep bringing up the weather out here, but it is that bad. So my hair's all wet, and I changed into a clean shirt, my Captain America shirt, because I like Captain America. I didn't like Captain America that. I like Iron Man. That's Captain America is kind of a too goody two shoes if you saw it. But anyway, that's not why I'm here. This is a very important thing. Why did they do it? Why did they do it? And I'm talking about the Boston terrorists, if you want to call them that, I guess. Well, because I don't know how to pronounce their name, and frankly, I believe terrorists, the name should not be remembered. They're cowards. They do it for notoriety, or for that, and so that's why I don't really. I want to forget these people's names. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run circles around the mainstream media because, once again, bloggers, not necessarily me, but we're faster, we're more nimble, and we're doing your job. And what's going to happen is all the mainstream media and the East Coast, Ivy League, Columbia School of Journalism, and psychologists, all that veritably fake industry or coalition, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be wrong because they're wrong about everything else. Or they're at least going to be slow to get to this. So, but the thing I'm going to predict, the thing is, why'd they do it? Because these two kids, it's not like they had, one was like in his second year of medical school. So a lot of people ask why. And you know what? You never ask them, do you? You never ask guys, because it's primarily men who do this, and I have the answer for you. Now, I'm no therapist, I'm no psychologist, which probably means I'm right. Because I don't have my brain screwed up by 8 years of gobbledygook from Freud and Jung and all this other crap, this pseudoscience. You can't even call it science, But let me explain it to you here. To summarize it, it's a hero psychology. Related very closely to Crusaderism. If you haven't seen my video on Crusaderism, it's a series of videos because YouTube, you can't upload it all in one shot. Look up Crusaderism because that's generally what it is, but specifically applied to guys, it's kind of this hero psychology. Let me explain. When I was young, and even to today, there is a character, cartoon character, that probably had more of an influence on my life than any other fictional character, and that guy's name is Scott Bernard. Who the hell's Scott Bernard? Well, if you look at Scott Bernard, he was this character in a cartoon called Robotech. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but Earth is taken over by aliens. The Earth Defense Forces are wiped out, so it's up to the other planets' forces, because we've colonized in the future, to send the Armada back to the Earth to reclaim it. And so Scott Bernard, he's from Mars, the closest one, and so they're first on the scene. And they just get obliterated. Well, Scott Bernard's the only guy to survive the entire Mars invasion force. And he lands somewhere in the southern tip of South America, and the whole series of this cartoon is him battling his way up and gathering a resistance force to take over the headquarters, to destroy the alien headquarters, which is located roughly in Ohio. But so here's this guy, he's wiped out, and what I liked about him, why it formed something, is because it was against all odds. He had principles and morals, and no matter how bad it was, he still did it. He lost it. So now, I was 8 or 9 at the time, and I wanted nothing more than to pilot this thing called a Veritech fighter, which was this fighter plane that would convert into a robot. I was Japanese, by the way. And there were these things called cyclones. There were motorcycles that could switch into armor. And, normal dreams of a normal 8, 9-year-old boy. Every boy wants to be a hero. Well, as you get older, you get sane. Now, I was very let down to find out at the age of, 12, I started to realize the technology probably was not there for me I will never pilot a Veritech fighter or a Cyclone. And then, reality sets in, you mature, you become an adult. But your dreams as a kid, obviously, fantastic as they are, obviously are not feasible. And if you're sane, you realize that. You then got to go, and the real world hits you, and it's nowhere near as exciting as what your childhood was, where you're going to become an economist. Ooh. You're going to become an accountant. You're going to become a doctor. You're going to become... It's not going to compare to your ideas of becoming... whatever the boy's dream of being a hero was. Now, if you're mature, wise, you continue on. But that heroism, that desire to be a hero, never really goes away. The problem, though, is society does not call upon you to be a hero. In other words, the opportunity to be a hero is very limited, whereas the supply of men is very large. But it's still there in the men's psyche to go and protect the family, do something great, and hey, you're the hero, and yay, and celebrations and pomp and circumstance, or whatever they call it. So that desire is there. Some guys, particularly intellectually weak people, will find a crusade or a cause. It's so important that they become a hero that they create a fake crusade or cause or a threat, and then they're the ones that are going to go stop it. And you see this psychology played out in Muslim terrorists. If you look at the Muslim terrorists, I'm just talking about Muslim terrorists now, I'll get to other people later because it's the same psychology. The reason it might be so prevalent, or I'm guessing it's so prevalent, is because you have an entire religion backing you up or providing the rationale for it. Like, oh, there's always the infidel. No matter what, there's always the infidel. You could wipe out, in my book, Enjoy the Decline, I explain, you could wipe out, Islam could take over, radicalism could take over the planet. They would still need an infidel for that religion to work. So they would create, it's the evil Martians, or it's the evil other guys that are keeping us down. And it couldn't be that you treat your women like crap, or that it's a barbaric 8th century a lifestyle that doesn't adhere to reality. That can't be it. There always has to be an enemy. And this is how they motivate a lot of young men to go and get slaughtered. To go and, the imams, I don't see a lot of imams. I don't see him. Did Osama bin Laden carry out any attacks? No, he had some other people go do it. So you get this, look, here's this evil criminal, evil enemy, Israel, United States, West, whatever. It doesn't matter. Because it's not that the United States or Israel, the West, is really evil. It is first and foremost an excuse so that this person can get their ego fix and go on a suicide bombing or go on and they're champions. Also, a lot of it has to do that there's no freaking economic opportunity. So what else is Ahmed supposed to do? So you can see where the environment lends itself well. Now, is the same psychology for all terrorists, regardless, the homebred ones. Take a look. Any one of the Ricin attack, even more recently. After the Boston bombing, this Ricin attack, if you look at the guy that did the Ricin attack against Obama and the other congressman, this guy's a nut job. But if you find out why, he is fighting against this conspiracy that involves the mafia and the government. Again, he's off his rocker. But this guy has a crusade. He's fighting this fight, and now he gets to play out his childhood dream or his inbred psychology that men have to be that hero. Another interesting thing is to take a look at particularly American terror. We couldn't say American. Let's say Western, because there's a perfect example. Look at the most recent spate of attacks in the West, or with homegrown, quote-unquote, homegrown. They all consist of guns. And the reason why is the guns are heroic. You look at movies, I'm not lending a lot of credence to this, but if you look at the movies we have in the West, our heroes carry guns. We shoot the bad guy, and that's what we do. But the Aurora nut job, he was all armed and ready to go. The Virginia Tech idiot, and then who's the guy? Lars? His name is James Jefferson. Jones Chesterton. Lawrence Jameson. Yes! We're like this! If anyone got that, that was freaking funny. If you didn't, it's Dirty Rotten Scholars. Any case, Lars Levikson, or whatever his name is, the nut job in Norway, killed all those people. He has a picture of himself with a gun. He's in some military uniform, but he wasn't in the military. This is not coincidence. This is them, and right there, him taking a picture of him all da-da-da, and if he's not in the military, what? Because they all want to be heroes. Now, is there this is, truthfully, if you were to focus your efforts on this, attacking this hero complex, I think you'd, may be able to predict a terrorist attack better, or at least you'd answer the question, why? Why did he was the second year meds, da-da-da-da. It's, that's the reason why. Now, for a solution, it's that hero instinct in boys that help advance society. You don't want to get rid of that because you want men and boys to go and do great things. You want them to aspire to high heights. It is explaining, this is where fathers should come in, mothers, parenting, but preferably fathers, saying, look, you're not more important than society. And certainly your ego and desire to be a crusader is not more important in society. And you see this, you don't even have to have terrorist attacks, you see this on the left all the time. These worthless humans, but I mean worthless. Take a look at Mark Dayton. I use him commonly because he's the epitome of what I talk about here. He doesn't care about, he's our governor in Minnesota. He really doesn't care about Minnesota. He really doesn't want to help out Minnesotans. I mean, he might, but that's not his primary reason running for governor. The reason he got into politics is because he was a spoiled little brat. His granddaddy started the Target Corporation. You may have heard of that corp. So this guy is totally loaded. He's bored out of his mind. Could he just shut the fuck up and go donate his money to a charity or sit on some boards? No, he's got to go and get in everybody's life because his ego needs that, not necessarily heroism, but he needs some kind of purpose in life. Right? So this psychology that we have to attack, explaining to all people, because women sometimes will become crusaders too, like Nancy Pelosi. But all people, especially boys though, say, look, your desires to be a hero and do good things does not trump society. And it certainly does not rationalize you to come up with a fake threat, global warming, to therefore foist your opinion and give yourself the opportunity to become a hero at the expense of society, right? That's Ralph Nader. That's the psychology. That's what we have to address with these young boys. So it's upbringing. It's everything. Everything that's wrong with the world is a lack of decent upbringing of children, because especially in democracy, because we're the ones that vote people in. As for, you look at these kids, 26-year-old, and they still have all this stuff going from in all their lives. What you really got to do, and what will really help, is what's always kept men in check. You dames, you women, we need something to do. This would include things like a job, having a growing economy, having a purpose in life. Normally this would manifest itself in a career or a job or a trade or a skill, and as well a family. And in our particular case, women, unless you're gay, in the case it's men, but minority discussions aside, in general, what men need, you want to stop men from blowing shit up. You want to stop men from assaulting. It's not going to be gun laws, and or unless you're going to start making laws against pressure cookers. What it is you need growing economy. You need these men to have a purpose in life, because men got all this. Look at what we built. Look at what we built. Sorry, ladies, you didn't build it. We built. We've skyscrapers, got to the moon, medicine. That production, that innovation, that creativity didn't just poof out of nowhere. It is an innate, built in. Is innate the right word? It's built in. And it's like if you could take two wires and plug it into a guy, we could power a city. One man could power a city with the amount of creativity and production potential we have. And if it's not released, we're going to find a way to release it. I mean, a perfect example is the manosphere and the blogging world in general. What are all these unemployed men doing? Well, we can't go get jobs. Well, some will resort to crime. That certainly as well. But it goes in writing. This is why a lot of writers who were unknown are still unknown because they're anonymous. They channel these efforts towards good and productive things. But sometimes people who lack the intellectual honesty, they'll channel it towards bad things. They'll engage in crime, or to in their psychological little head to say, I need still to be that hero. I'm going to go and find an evil that doesn't exist to give me the excuse to go and live it up and be that hero, and then die in the end because, society is going to kill you in the end. So, unless you're Lars Larson. Because then, I think, because Norway is just such a bunch of pansified socialist pansies, I think he gets out in 40 years. I mean, but hey, that's a different story. So, there it is. I know I've done the work now, and 10 times better than any of you East Coast psychology, journalists, therapists, sociologists, Ivy Leaguer types. That's okay, and I beat you to the punch, and I've done it. I know you're going to waste many hours, and if the millions of people watch it, you're going to be wasting hundreds of millions of people's precious labor hours that could be useful doing something else, or people could just watch this video. That's it. Oh, and go buy my book. What book do I have? It's too lazy. I'll throw it up. Go get Enjoy the Decline or something. We'll see you. Toodles.